Hi guys, so today I'm recording a cooking video. I'm doing beef ugali. I might do some rice and also arrowroot, that's ndoma. And the vegetables I'm doing are kienyeji vegetables. So I'll show you step to step, starting with cutting this tomatoes, onions, capsicum. I'm also going to prepare my garlic and ginger and just have it ready. Yeah. So for the nyama, I need a lot of onions. For the meat, sorry, need a lot of onions. That's why I have all this. And yeah, I only need 1 tomato for my beef. I don't need tomatoes for the rest of the food that I'm cooking. So yeah, let's start there. So next I chopped up these tomatoes. I normally chop them like this so that they can be easily, so that they can soften easily. And the next thing I'll do the capsicum. So when I'm cutting the capsicum, I normally just remove the top part. I'll throw away the middle part to avoid the seeds falling into my, like floating in my stew. So I normally just cut it out and remove it. Yeah. Just going to remove it and throw it in the bin. Yeah, I'm going to remove everything so you won't have this thing inside. So then I've prepared my ginger. I'm going to peel it and remove the skin. And these ones I've already peeled and I've washed them. So I normally use a grater to get a better paste. I don't pound, so I'm just going to use a grater to grate them. But let me first remove the skin from this. So everything is done. Now I just want to grate them. I normally use this smaller holes on my grater. Don't judge my grater. This is some of the first things I moved with when I started living alone. So I haven't thrown away so much of the things I moved with, so yeah. Just understand me. So ginger is done. Now I'm doing the same to my garlic. Careful so you don't eat your fingers. Yeah, but my knee is not so sharp. My grater is not so sharp, so it's fine. It's never really hurt me. Done. So normally I tend to use a lot of garlic and ginger, but I'm not doing that a lot. Today I'm just using a bit because the beef is not so much again. So yeah, that's how they look. So now everything is done. My tomatoes, my capsicum or hoho, and lots of onions. But this is going to cook how many mils? Like 3 mils, yeah, or 2. So next we're washing the beef. Here the butcher just dices the beef for you, so it's already diced for me. So I'll just wash. I don't think I'm removing any dirt. I'll add more water. I don't think I'm removing any dirt, but I just get satisfaction from washing it. So it's just something I do. Yeah. So I'll wash it and then remove all the water. Remove all the water. Remove all the water completely. So next step we're doing, I want to put the beef to like simmer. I normally simmer it on low heat, but I do it with onions. So I'll put on the fire. Okay, and then put my onions, come in with my onions. I know I prefer using a lot of onions for my beef. So I go in with the onions. I think that's enough. Put onions down. And then I put some cooking oil. So just enough to slightly cover my onions, but it hasn't really covered it. It depends on how much oil you like, because you might just put a bit. I personally want to put that much. I don't know if you'll be able to see properly, but let me see if I can show you. This is much oil I've put. And the amount of meat I have is 3/4 of a kg. Yeah. So I'll give it a bit of a stir. So what happens at this stage, some people prefer to pre-boil their meat so that it can become tender, but still when I do it this way, it's going to become tender. I'm going to reduce the heat too low and it might cook for, I'll let you know, maybe 30 minutes, but let me just see first. So I'll go in with the beef now. I don't need the onions to turn or anything, so I just done like 2 minutes. And then I put the beef. So, because I'm trying to get the beef to be soft before I continue with the rest of the cooking. So right now, I won't let the heat be up, I'll just reduce it. Okay? I want it to be like minimum heat completely, minimum heats. And then I'll add some salt, but you can add the salt later. So I'll add some salt, go in with my salt. I just add until the ancestors tell me that's enough. Yeah. You notice the frying has died down because I lowered my heat, so just enough salt. It's not a lot, I'm just putting on the sides, then you'll see once it's cooked, it won't be a lot. I've mastered that art. Okay. So I'll just make sure the ones that are sticking on the end are not stuck anymore. Like I remove the sticky parts. Then I'm gonna cover it for a bit. Just going to cover it for a bit. And then come back after like 5 minutes. And then stir it with the heat low, and then I'll leave it still. So I'm back. My ancestors have told me to check. So I'm back. I can just put this away. Sorry. And sometimes I normally just leave it. Since it's on low heat, I don't really need to turn. But since I want the meat to cook evenly, even the top part, at the same time, I'm going to turn. So I don't know if you can see. This is how it looks. It's just slowly bubbling. I try to fix my camera. That's how it looks, slowly bubbling. So I just want to turn and stir it. And don't laugh at my cooking sticks. They've seen life. Most of my utensils are actually hand-me-downs from my family when I was moving out. So that's why they look old. And this is supposed to be a non-stick pot. But funny thing, we got one of our house helps. Accidentally scrubbed it, and she did it for a while, so it kept fading, and so we decided to just remove the whole tint. Yeah, so I've stirred it. The onions are evenly mixed in. I'm going to cover it and let it simmer for, I believe, 30 minutes, but I'll let you know how long it has stayed simmering. So yeah, that's it. Let me show you how it looks. This is how it looks. Okay, and let me see if I can show you how low the heat is. So this is how low my heat is. This is how low my heat is. Okay. This is how low my heat is. You can make it even lower because I don't want my beef to burn before it gets soft. So yeah. So after stirring, it's slow cooking. I'll just come here and cover it again. Okay. I'm going to be cooking other meals on the other cookers, on the other burners, sorry, but I need to take care of something first, so I'll just leave this simmering and then come back and continue. So yep. So after around 30 minutes, I came to check. I've checked some steam, sorry. I came to check, and the beef has actually there's more water in the beef, and I didn't put any. Actually, I guess it's coming from when I washed it, and also because I'm slow cooking, so it's getting out the water from the beef itself. So I'll just give it another stir. So yeah, give it another stir and let it continue simmering as I prepare to cook the rest of my meals. So it's on low heat. I'll let it continue simmering. This is how it looks. It's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up. It's looking good. It's getting soft, and the beef wasn't like tough. So yeah, it's good there. Okay, so I'll cover it back. I'll check it again in the next 30 minutes, or if I check it earlier, I'll let you know. So after around 1 hour of slow cooking, my beef started sticking on the saucepan. All the water had died down. Now it was just remaining cooking fats. But I tested a few pieces. Some were soft, others were not so soft, but I really want soft meat. So I decided to well, I tested because it had been cooking for 1 hour, so that means it's safe to eat. So some pieces are actually good, but some are tough. So I opted to add some water. So I opted to add some water and then covered it up and boil until the water dies down. And then I believe by then my meat will be soft. As you can see, that's the amount of water I've added in. I'm just going to put it aside to continue cooking, and then I'll come back to it later. So after a few minutes, the water I added to my meat or to my beef dried out, and then it remained the cooking fat. It just separates itself. So I'm letting it brown for like 1 minute, and then I go in with my garlic and ginger. So 1 minute after adding my ginger, I went in with garlic. I really love garlic. I use it in most of my meals. So I'm going to spread it the same way I did with ginger. So after adding it, I put around 3 cloves of garlic, 2 to 3, and I put like, okay, ginger depends on the size you have. Yeah, but like a like a 1.5 teaspoon of ginger and garlic. Then I let it fry so that the garlic can brown. I don't like seeing garlic floating in my soup. If you don't let it turn golden brown, then it's likely to float in your soup and it looks so bad. I'm doing this on low heat so it doesn't burn. So after when the garlic and the ginger started browning, just before they were fully brown, I started going in with my spices. So I'll first go in with this mixed spices from Tropical Heats. I'm putting just a bit. I don't want it to lose its natural taste, but I don't like tasting bare meat. So I'm just putting a bit, like a tip. Not so much since I already have garlic and stuff. So that's enough for me. And then the other spice I don't miss is turmeric. So I have my turmeric spice. Again, not so much. I don't like how it discolors stuff. So the next spice is turmeric. I've added just a bit of turmeric, not much. And then I also have this simbambili curry powder. I'll scoop a bit. This is how simbambili looks, but you can use more. Simbambili looks like that. It's curry powder basically. Makes good curries. Okay, so there I'm done with the spices. I want to give them a mix so they can just mix all in properly. And then I normally let them fry first before I add my tomatoes so they can feel cooked. Okay? My meat is so tender, my beef is tender, and the aroma of the spices mixing up is just out of this world. I just keep stirring. I like my beef brown, but again it's because I'm giving it time for the spices to mix properly. So my beef is nicely brown and spiced. I just want to add now my capsicum and some tomatoes. So I'm adding capsicum. Give it a good stir. That's how it looks. So if you want the capsicum to be crunchy when you're eating, you can put them at the end. But I normally prefer just mixing it so. I like when it absorbs the oil from the beef. Look at that. Look at that goodness. Look at that goodness. Nicely brown. Look at that. So yeah, just for a few seconds as I consistently stir so it doesn't stick. After adding the ginger and garlic, it might stick. So keep stirring so it doesn't stick. Okay, then I go in with my tomatoes. I had already cut them initially, like I showed you. I only cut one tomato. I don't like having a lot of tomatoes. So this is one medium-sized tomato for 3/4 kg of mix. 3/4 kg is 750 grams of beef with one tomato, 2 onions. So I give it a good stir. So after mixing the vegetables now, I give it a good stir. Give it a good stir. And then I'll lower the heat so that the tomatoes can soak and become softer. And soft enough. I'll reduce the heat and then cover it so that the tomatoes can become softer. So after a few minutes, the tomatoes are fully crumbled in the beef. Look at that beauty. I know my saucepan doesn't look the most beautiful on the sides, but this is how you tell the food is good. So look at that. I'm just giving it a stir again. But this is the yummiest beef. So you can serve at this stage. But for me, because I'll also use it a bit with my rice, I'll add a bit of soup and then let it just boil a bit, and then I'll remove it. So I'm going to add a bit of water, but again, like I said, you can serve it at this stage. So here I'm adding some water, and then I'll cover it to simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes until it becomes a thick paste. It normally flows so nicely on the plate. So I've added a bit of water, not so much again, but I'm just allowing for it to boil and then remain just enough for me. Okay. Then I'll cover it for a few minutes, but this is the amount of water I put. Don't worry, my wooden spoon is burnt. This is the amount of water I put, but it won't look that flowy. It's going to become a thick paste. So I've covered my beef to simmer for like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much soup you want. I just don't want much. 5 to 10 minutes and it will be ready for serving. So at this stage, if you like, you can go in with some soy sauce. I use this Pearl River Bridge. I don't know if you can see it properly. So I'll go in with my soy sauce, and I just put a few drops. I don't like putting a lot of soy sauce in my stews, so I'll just, until my ancestors tell me it's enough, but I'll just put a few drops. 1. So that's enough for me. And then I'll give it a nice stir. After adding the soy sauce, I'm giving it a nice stir so it can mix uniformly. I don't put so much so my soup turns into some weird color, black. But if you want the taste, you can put, but I just put like 2 drops. Okay, then I put it back to continue simmering. So after around 10 minutes, I came back to a nice thick paste. This is how it looks when you mix it. It looks like it's almost sticking at the bottom, but it's not. Okay, so it has a nice yellowish color because of the turmeric. Now it's ready to serve and eat. Okay, so my beef is ready. This is a beautiful beef stew.